Hugh Freeze has pinpointed 4 critical issues that kept the Auburn Tigers from winning multiple games last year. But have they been fixed?
In a world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. It's another Friendship Friday, and I have a fantastic guest, good buddy of mine that's going to join us, and we're going to talk about the 4 critical issues that Hugh Freeze has mentioned specifically time after time, that these 4 items held Auburn back, kept Auburn from winning multiple games last year. But the question is, have they been fixed? Can they be fixed? Or what do we need to see change? What changes do we need to see to have those things fixed? We're going to dive into that in just a second. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to Rhoback.com. Use coupon code BARN20 to take 20% off your order. I got a Rhoback polo on right now, feeling really good. Look, if you like fun prints on your polos, or you like classics, just solids or stripes, they got that too. Hoodies, pullovers, pants, shorts, swimsuits, doesn't matter. They got it all. So check them out. Show them some love. It's Rhoback.com. I'd like to welcome my buddy Bryce Tillman to the show. Bryce, man, these have all been really good. You got some tough shoes to fill.
Hey, no doubt about it, man. I've listened to majority of them, and yeah, for sure they you got it going on over here, man. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it, buddy. All right, so let's talk about Hugh at every press conference when he's talked about expectations on the year, and he's talked about basically the results from last year. There's been 4 key points that he's always pointed to that says, man, when we really looked at ourselves in the mirror, really looked inside to figure out what went wrong last year, we kept coming to 4 things: red zone scoring, special teams, turnovers, and then critical down defense. So it's great that you can identify a problem, but what do you do to fix it? So, Bryce, let's go one by one. Let's talk about the different sections and then what we've seen that's been changed or what we think needs to be changed. And we're going to start with probably the most frustrating one is red zone scoring. Okay, Bryce, I'm going to give you a stat. Let me tell me what you think about it.
Hit me with it.
Auburn, where do you think Auburn finished last season in touchdown percentage? In other words, the percentage of when you get to the red zone, you score a touchdown. Where do you think Auburn finished in the conference?
Oh, conference. Well, I'm going to assume we're better than 2 teams in the conference at it, just off sole performance for what I've seen. And I might be wrong on this, but I would probably have to say Mississippi State and Kentucky. So that would put us at what, 14th?
Okay, not a bad guess, but unfortunately, Bryce, we were dead last. We were dead last in touchdown percentage. So when we got to the red zone, we were the least likely to score a touchdown. Overall scoring percentage, so that's scoring just a score, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal, Auburn was also dead last. Now, there is a number of things. There's a number of things that you can account for the reason as to why that is. Let's start with the touchdown, though, part of it, because I think a lot of people want to pinpoint play calling. Overall, what are your thoughts on just what went wrong last year and then what you hope to see in the red zone this year?
So I think with Hugh Freeze's play calling in the red zone,
yeah,
if you go back and look at it, he didn't change anything from the 20 that he started on to the 20 that he got to the red zone. I think that it started from just the mental aspect of the spread of the field to where you're at, to the plays that he was calling, to the reads that you're seeing. when you start getting into inside of your red zone, typically defenses run the man coverage, and I felt like at times that Thorne, he had a hard time, in my personal opinion, deviating between pre-snap, zone, and man coverages. And I feel like that he didn't quite deviate the way and make the right read on the initial snap due to fake zones turning to man or vice versa. Man's dropping back to zones.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people say,
one I'm thinking of right now still gives me nightmares. The old bluff, the old bluff fake blitz with Oklahoma where they dropped into coverage and then ended the game.
Hit the guy right between his numbers, man. 6 points.
Yeah,
and then
he would have chose that 10 times out of 10 though. He would have been tricked 10 times out of 10. I'm with you. I think there was a lot of issues that when you get into the red zone, and I think a lot of it, obviously, to me, kind of echoing what you're talking about, stemmed from, all right, we're a little bit unsure about what plays we can call and execute in general. So, we always we're dumbing down the playbook. So your playbook automatically gets smaller in the red zone anyway. So if you already have a shrunk playbook and then you get inside the red zone, that hurts things even more. So that shrinks it even more. It makes it a little bit tougher. Let me read you a stat. I know a lot of people said we never ran the ball. We should have ran the ball more. You know what?
We ran it.
Yeah, our yards per carry inside the 20-yard line were less than 2 yards. So our average yard per carry inside the opponent's red zone was 1.8 yards per carry. So this is kind of, I talked about offensive line issues. We were good in between the 20s, but when they knew we had to pass and we knew they knew we had to pass, we struggled. And then when we had to run and we knew they knew we had to run the ball, we struggled. So how do we fix that? I feel like when you have the wide receiver room that we have, you feel like you're not going to have a lot of the freshman mistakes. You're going to be able to, get into those 50-50 battles, those one-on-one battles, and you got multiple weapons across the board. And then the offensive line in general, I think, is just going to be much, much better this year. So those two things in and of itself should fix some things. And then obviously you hope, you got a quarterback that's got a little bit more of maybe a little bit more of an RPO style, RPO background that you feel like can make those reads that you were talking about. But I got a key thing that I think is going to be very helpful. I want to get your take on this. And I've talked about this before, but I think Jarquez Hunter is fantastic. I think Jarquez Hunter was unreal, okay? But I don't think the power run game is something that is really a huge part of Hugh's offense. So in order to be able to run it the way Jarquez needed you to run it, a lot of substitutions, a lot of formations. It seemed like a lot of concerted effort to be able to get into a situation to get him good touches, especially in the red zone. And then that telegraphs things and this, that, and the other. I think the ability and maybe having some running backs where you don't necessarily, you don't have to rely on them to have 25 carries a game. And then B, maybe you don't have to formation your way into getting them those touches. You can just kind of run your regular offense. I think that's going to make a big difference as well.
So when you look back and you watch the games from last season and you look and everybody will remember Rivaldo Fairweather for a long time. I mean, game-winning catch from Cal was awesome. Never forget it. And he had some awesome catches throughout the year. But we've seen Rivaldo stand up a lot of the times and kind of go into a slot role at times or just that two-step off the line thing that he would do.
Yeah.
And then very rarely did you see him get down in three-point stance. But if you go back to last season and you look, when you're inside your red zone, you're getting different tight ends on the field and they're lining up in 11 personnel or 21 personnel or 22 personnel. And they know these defensive coordinators get paid millions of dollars. They know what it means when you have run one type of offense from his side of the field, comes all the way down the field. And when you get in the red zone, now 27's in the game. Oh, now they got a tight end on the line of scrimmage. Oh, now it's time to We know what they're going to do. Power read, read options, halfback draws, stuff like that. It's textbook. And again, I think that part of what Hugh said at SEC Media Days on how is he going to attack this and how is he going to fix this, one of the issues that we're talking about was when Dap got up and asked him at SEC Media Days with the wide receiver room that we have right now, what are expectations for tight ends? What are we going to look at? And he flat out looked at him and told him 10 personnel.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more of it. Yeah.
Hey, 10 personnel, man. I like tight ends. Tight ends are utilized right, and they are a position that is much, much needed. But if you're running a 10 personnel and you have 4 wide receivers and 1 single back, whether they're in man or they're in zone, something's going to be open every play. It's schematic. It's got to happen. And as long as you're making the right reads, which I believe Jackson Arnold's going to make a lot more accurate reads. I don't think that he's an overthinker. I think he's more of a reactor, and I think that he'll succeed with it. But when you run them tight ends out, and when you get inside your red zone, you stay in the 10 personnel. Don't try to go jumbo set because they know what's coming. Last year, I feel like we had to simplify the offense down in the red zone and just throw the weight of it on Jarquez's back and just say, hey, man, we know you're a power horse. Take it in. Let's see what you got.
Yeah,
and then defense was lining up in it.
It was totally predictable. When you shrink the playbook and then the field shrinks the playbook even more, it makes things tough. I agree. I think being able to have guys out there that you can trust and not have to really change up a lot of personnel to be able to just function, I think is going to be huge. Let's switch gears to, I think, everybody's the most frustrating thing last year at times, because Auburn's just really never dealt with this. I mean, I can't remember the last time other than last season where you just felt like special teams were a disaster. And what's crazy is the year prior with the same staff, Auburn was pretty solid. You get really good. You had a really good punt returning, really good kick returning. But last year it felt like everything was a disaster, from the field goals to even punting in crucial times. I want to read some stats for you. Field goals, Auburn was dead last. Dead last in field goal percentage. Not very good in punt returning. Actually, they were fairly decent in kickoff returns, the ones that you actually didn't get a penalty on.
Right.
That's another stat that I wish you could find. You could probably find average starting position, which I haven't found, and I would imagine it's probably towards the bottom of the conference. You bring in a new special teams coach. You bring in a portal kicker, which I don't even know if he's actually going to be needed. You bring in a new punter. Done a lot of things. Just overall, how do you feel about special teams going into this season?
Well, look, I'm from 40 minutes from Southern Mississippi, and I know they signed Connor Gibbs, and I can tell you the kid has got a cannon on him, and whether he's needed or not, he is there. We don't have to go search the school for a kicker next year. That's for sure. He hit 10 for 13, and on average kickoffs, he was 60 yards. So, I mean, he's got it. He's got the juice behind his foot, and he's a good player. But I want to touch back on something that you mentioned, though. You said about, the punt returns it was better the year prior than last year.
Yeah.
But the Gravedigger play, man, come from a busted punt return.
Yeah. Well, that was that sucked. That just sucked having Keontae get hurt for like one play, and then you have to take him out and put his backup in, who just so happens to have the same number, and then that happened. But I'm with you. That's
I got a good feeling that Chad Lunsford will tell that guy next time if he's out there, if that ball is punted towards you, you run to the opposite side of the field.
Just let it go. Just let it go. Hey, I'll tell you what Auburn hasn't had in a while that I'm excited about, and I've heard and I've seen talk about is Eric Singleton possibly returning punts. Auburn has not really had an electric punt returner. I'm trying to think of the last one where correct me if I'm wrong. Usually, when you see a punt, what's going through your head when the opposing team punts us the ball? What's going through your head right off the bat?
Last season, I was saying, just catch it. Please just catch it.
It's not even last season. I feel like it's been like that forever.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I want to see a guy back there where you start standing up. You start standing up. Your heart starts beating a little bit fast. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh my goodness, this thing could go to the house. If he gets a good punt, this thing can go to the house. I think there's some skill guys back there that, that's an opportunity. I think that's an opportunity. You got some game changing in the return. We'll see how Chad Lunsford switches things. Got to figure out the kickoff return piece. You got to make sure we're not just completely hamstringing the offense by having clipping penalty after clipping penalty on kickoffs. Got to figure that piece out. You mentioned Connor Gibbs. The good news, I think, that we've heard early going into this season in the kicking game is that it seems like Alex McPherson is going to be healthy again, which is insane. I know that's not something you never know, and his issue is unpredictable. I know there was a procedure done, and they feel like they're moving in the right direction. He's able to gain weight, but, 2 years ago, Alex McPherson did not miss a field goal.
No,
he quite literally didn't miss, period.
He was electric, man, and he was spot on every time. And like I said, hey, things happen in life. We overcome it. That's what we do, and he seems like from everything that I've read, from hearing from all of y'all, he's made a good bounce back from it. I think didn't he get down to like 100 and almost 15 pounds or something?
He might have gotten under 100 pounds. He might have gotten under 100 pounds, which is crazy.
Man, that's a tough situation. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that he's coming back. Just one more stat about Gibbs that I found too before we move on. And again, if Alex McPherson's the guy, and he was the guy the year before. Yeah. But if not, I want Auburn fans to have some confidence in Connor Gibbs. He hit 3 field goals from 50+ yards last year.
Nice.
He was sending it, man, and he's got it.
And I'm not ready to just throw Towns Magoo in the trash either. I think he's super talented. I don't think the staff really did a service to him last year. And it wasn't necessarily the staff's fault. You had to throw him in. He had to play. With Alex's situation. So I guess bottom line is you got 3 really good options. If Alex is healthy, you have a solid option. And then you got 2 guys in Towns Magoo and Connor Gibbs that have the leg to handle the place kicking duties. And then if you need to have one of those deep field goals, and Alex may not be all the way there to kick that 50+ yarder, maybe you got a couple of options. So you feel like you're going to be better there. We feel like you're going to be better in the return game. And that's going to be huge. Punting, you bring in your transfer Hudson Cock from Oklahoma State, and he seems awesome. Like some of those videos he's doing are incredible.
I can't even say quarterbacks throw a football some good times as good as he throws one.
He actually did it
into a barrel.
Did you see the video? Did you see the video with him in Jackson where what was it? There was a net underneath in the end. There was a net in the end zone, and they were like, Jackson would throw it from the 20-yard line into the net, and he had to punt it into the net. And they went all the way back. And if you made one, you had to go back 10 yards. And they went all the way back to the 40-yard line before he missed. He was just draining them. So I hope that translates. We've had this run on Aussie punters. So Australian punters. It's kind of crazy. The rugby style.
I think, and maybe not. The kid's got speed, I know, and he's got talent. But I think I want to. I don't hate the fact that Eric Singleton Jr. returning punts.
Yeah.
Typically, from what I've noticed over the years, that special team coaches like using defensive backs to return punts because it kind of correlates with a lot of drills they run during practice from interception drills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, I think I want to see Pleasant get back there and take one. That kid has got some juice behind him, man.
Yeah, he is I think he was a 4th team all American returning punt or returning return specialist, whether it be kickoffs or punts. I'm with you. That is something that's sort of natural for them, backpedaling and then tracking a ball in the air. So there is a skill set there. And I'm with you. He had he had 100-yard pick-6 last year. So I'd love to see. I think you got to, again, this kind of the theme. you got some pretty good options. This roster
You
is
do.
pretty
You got
loaded.
plenty
You got
of
some. You got some pretty good options. We're going to talk about turnovers and critical down defense here in just a second. We'll be back right after this. All right, man. Turnovers were I don't even know how to talk about it. They were debilitating
they're
at times
atrocious.
last year, especially early in the year, which is honestly, you take 2 games out and you're on maybe not quite as bad overall as you really think, but turnovers were an issue. Again, you had a quarterback change over turnovers. And then you had a quarterback change back to the original quarterback over turnovers.
Coming there and threw 3 interceptions the first half. So.
Yeah, and then you had some just god-awful fumbles at the wrong time. I mean, I still have nightmares about Damari Alston, the one against Arkansas going into the end zone. But turnovers, how do you fix turnovers? Like, what fixes turnovers? And do you think Auburn's done enough to be able to help curb that? Because, look, Hugh's offense, let's just be honest, you put the ball in the air a lot, you're going to open yourself up to risk of turnovers. And his offenses have yielded at times high turnover numbers.
Yeah.
What's some of the things, or what do you think we need to do to be able to, I guess, limit those as much as possible?
Well, I think last year a lot of it come, like, again, we've talked about it in the first segment. I would say like when you're breaking down that playbook and trying to make it as simple, it becomes predictable.
Yeah.
And so I believe that you've got to keep your playbook open. I believe that if you stay spread, keep your playbook open and rely on reaction and not overthinking. I believe that Thorne, he had 2 good seasons at Michigan State, and he showed flashes where he was good at Auburn.
You made a really good point about Thorne off air. A couple of, like, when we were together once, talking about from a coach's son aspect. Talk about that. Like, I thought you made a really good point when you talked about being a coach's son and how sometimes that could be a hindrance.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody in life, if you've played any kind of sports, you've been around a son of the coaches, and they're just, they're a little bit more on the overachieving side, a little bit of an overthinker, a little do more. And I think at times last year in the RPO offense, it is made to react, to read and react. Yeah. And I felt like at times Thorne forced things by overthinking it. And I believe that his reaction time was slowed down to the simple fact of him just overthinking it. Yeah. Me and you talked about it. We made a couple different scenarios on it of different quarterbacks across the conference that wouldn't run this offense good, that wouldn't be good. And then we talked about a couple offenses that Thorne would have shined in. So that's just the nature of a RPO offense, is the reaction time and the reaction to it, and just not overthinking it.
So hopefully, and obviously, speaking of Thorne and being a coach's son, we're obviously thinking about him and his family and his dad as they're going through, what they're going through as far as his dad's health. And obviously, we're always going to be sending up thoughts and prayers to that. You can't look. Life. It doesn't end right here with football. Okay, you don't make up your mind on somebody as how they perform. Like, good dude, gave a lot to Auburn. I thought he was a warrior at times, but like you said, there was just some wheels turning a little bit more than they needed to turn. So if you can get a little bit more on the same page with your quarterback again, and then receivers 1 year more in the system and being able to make the right read. Like, how many times was, it maybe not even on Thorne, where maybe you're looking for Malcolm to do something that you think he's supposed to be doing, and he does something different, and then the throw's not on time. Or even Cam, 2 of those interceptions last year, I know for a fact, went dead off of Cam's hands. I just don't think those things you can't really fix with I guess scheme. You just they fix themselves over time as far as like just getting used to the system. So 1 more year in it, a lot of different options on offense. You talked about it, not having a formation, be predictable. I think those things are going to be very, very big. And then last thing Hugh mentions is critical down defense. Auburn was not terrible, but 11th in the country in opponents' third down. In the conference in third down conversions. I felt like I felt like at times, and it's really hard to pinpoint like what it was situationally. And you brought up a good point. You thought it was, hey, dadgummit, we're on the field more. Offense is on the field, or the defense on the field the whole game. But there were some breakdowns. I can think of the Arkansas game where you had a big conversion on third down. Obviously, you can go back 2 years ago and think of the Alabama game. Just even though that was a whole different defensive coordinator, but
Oh man,
there were some times where it felt like we either sat back a little bit too much and we gave up some big third downs. Missouri, that last drive, picked up some third downs, some fourth downs. What does Auburn got to do, or like what do you think about that going into this season and how we get better there?
well, you got to change your coverage. I know you want to go. We'll go back and talk about the Missouri game right now.
Yeah,
Got busted over the middle 2 plays in a row that's because he refused to change out of cover 2 man.
yeah.
I mean, we were cover 2 zone. Excuse me. He had
Yeah.
2 safeties that were dropping back to the middle of the field was open both plays, and he run it back to back.
Yeah.
So I think, and then again, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. A lot of the third down conversions last year genuinely was because our defense was on the field so much in the game,
Yeah.
especially the Arkansas game. We had 5 turnovers. The Cal game, we had 5 turnovers. The Oklahoma game coming in, and we actually done pretty good that game. We were 2 for 11 on third downs in the Oklahoma game, or they were. Excuse me. We held Oklahoma for 2 for 11 on third downs, and we didn't have a lot of turnovers that game until when it mattered at the end when he hit the dude right between the numbers. So I think the play calling has been good majority of the time.
Yeah.
And I think that last year it truly resulted in fatigue, but just not having the depth of the roster yet. And I feel like this year that's also we had a good class coming in. I believe that you're going to see a lot of true freshmen play, redshirt freshmen coming in that are ready to take the reins, and I believe you're going to have a lot more fresh defensive players on the field this year.
Let me ask you this, just a theory, okay? And I don't know if this is accurate, but it seems like it could be. You had young guys in the secondary. You know, we talked about a lot of the true freshmen step up last year. Could it have been that, you know, you don't want to – you maybe are not quite as aggressive on the defensive front, so you don't want to leave those guys on an island. You know what I mean? Like if you blitz, if you send pressure, you know, somebody's going to be out of coverage. So do you think that goes into a defensive coordinator's mindset? And then with that being said, those guys are a year older, a year better. Could you see a little bit more pressure? Could you see a little bit of, hey, they're good enough now. We trust them now. Let's leave him. Hey, give him his man. We're going to send him. We know he's going to lock him down on the outside. We know Jay Crawford's good. We know Caleb Harris is going to be good. We got all the options at the free safety. We know Kay and Lee is going to be good. Hey, let's mix it up and let's get after him. Do you think that plays into how a defensive coordinator calls plays, especially on third down?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go back now and you can hear Hugh Freeze and DJ Durkin talking about what they limited DeMarcus Riddick to doing at the first half of the year last year on certain packages that they brought him in on. You know, then they finally realized what he was about and what he was capable of. And then I think Hugh actually might have been the one to come out and said it. Say, hey, we got to design packages, design plays for this kid. He's that special. And yeah, I believe that's the same case. You know, with a defensive coordinator or a head coach, at any time you're a freshman on the field, you got to show them. You got to show them what you can do. And them random plays where the ball's thrown your way and it really wasn't generated or expected to come to you. Maybe a backside busted play that come back and you're jumping a route and catching an interception or making a freak open field tackle or something like that, or a pass deflection on the third down. I definitely think that's what opens it up and opens up your defense coordinator's eyes. But I think I seen a stat a while back, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, where it said that Auburn had an average of 45 players play a game, and 26 of them were either true freshmen or redshirt freshmen or sophomores. I believe I'm pretty sure that's what it said. It was either true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores, 26 out of 45. So some of these third down conversions, some of these critical down moments, you can pin it on inexperience, but at the end of the day, man, I still am a firm believer that it was just about how much this defense truly was on the field last year.
Yeah, I think that definitely plays a big role. I'm hoping with the different options that you have, at pass rush, the different options you have at edge, you got some young guys, you got some experienced guys, and then the style of the defensive line, like the defensive line style of play. You got Keldrick Falk, you got Malik Blockton, who's really more of a pass rushing interior defensive lineman. Maybe you'll be able to get some more pressure to speed that quarterback up and help on those third down conversions. But I'm with you.
Kieran Crawford, baby.
Kieran Crawford, I think he's going to have a big year.
I've heard that he is turning it on, man. I'm expecting big things out of him this year.
He's definitely looks good coming off the bus for sure. So we'll see what happens. A lot of things that were done, that you can see, and then a lot of things that will just have to be sort of experienced as the season goes on if those 4 critical areas can be fixed. Bryce, anything else you want to talk about? You did a great job.
No, man, I appreciate you allowing me to come on here. I enjoyed it. And,
you're our Deuce Knight guy. You're the Greene County guy. Like you kept us. If you're a member of the barnauburn.com, you already know. But you're from Greene County. Like you keep us in the loop on Jace Matthews. You keep us in the loop on you kept us in the loop on Deuce. So we obviously appreciate that.
Just wait on Jace, man. I got a good feeling.
There we go. Guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. Let us know what you think about those 4 critical areas in the comments, and we'll talk again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.